There's a way God blesses you that doesn't make noise when it arrives. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare or call for everyone's attention. It comes quietly, in subtle changes, in doors opening that you didn't have the strength to push open yourself. And when it comes, whether money, opportunity, provision, or stability flows into your life from a source you know you could not have created, you must learn the discipline of silence, the discipline of wisdom, because not every blessing is meant to be shared publicly. Some blessings are meant to be carefully managed. There are times when God increases you financially, not to make you showy, but to make you faithful, not to expose you, but to equip you, not to prove your importance, but to confirm His presence. The challenge is not receiving it. The challenge is handling it without losing yourself, without letting excitement drag you into conversations or spaces that aren't ready to hold what God is doing. Sometimes God blesses quietly because He is still working on you privately. He is still shaping your habits, strengthening your character, refining your spirit, and expanding your wisdom. He doesn't want early exposure to ruin a blessing that was made to last. When money comes from God, the enemy wants you to get loud. Loud draws envy. Loud attracts predators. Loud invites opinions, comparisons, and unnecessary conflict. Loud exposes a blessing to forces that aren't ready for it. But quiet gives you space to think. Quiet gives you time to plan. Quiet gives you moments to pray. Quiet helps you develop discipline, strategies, and boundaries. Quiet allows God to finish the work He started in you without interruption. The world tells you to flex, show off, post, prove it. But heaven whispers, protect it, guard it, grow it. Because when money comes from God, it is never just money. It is assignment. It is stewardship. It is responsibility. It is seed. It is strategy. It is confirmation that He trusts you with more. And whenever God trusts you with more, you must respond with maturity. Don't let increase make you impulsive. Don't let blessings make you boastful. Don't let elevation make you careless. Don't let abundance make you available to every voice and every influence. This is not the season to explain yourself. This is the season to act. When God begins to shift your financial life, He is not just improving your lifestyle. He is positioning you for purpose. Money from God doesn't just change your bank account. It changes your options. It changes the places you can enter. It changes the level of impact you can have. It changes the choices you can say yes to and the ones you can finally say no to. But to walk in this with power, you must remain wise. Wisdom is the anchor that keeps blessings from steering you off course. Wisdom keeps you grounded when elevation tries to tempt you into pride. Wisdom keeps you focused when distractions try to pull you into comparison. Wisdom keeps your heart clean, your motives pure, your priorities straight. Wisdom teaches you how to manage what you prayed for. It tells you when to speak and when to stay silent, when to invest and when to wait, when to help and when to set boundaries, when to expand and when to stay hidden, when to celebrate publicly and when to worship privately. Wisdom protects what God gives. Some people want the blessing, but they're not ready for the silence. They're not ready for the patience it takes to sit with something powerful and not parade it. They're not ready for the restraint it takes to grow privately, to build silently, to move strategically. But God is calling you higher, and higher requires discretion. It requires the humility to know God doesn't owe anyone an explanation for what He's doing in your life. It requires the confidence to let results speak louder than announcements. It requires the maturity to let fruit grow before you show it. When money comes from God, you don't have to justify it. You don't have to prove you deserve it. You don't have to answer for it. You don't have to apologize for it. You don't have to shrink to make others comfortable or perform to impress anyone. You simply steward it quietly, wisely, and faithfully. And while you are quiet, God is moving loudly. While you are still, God is working. While you are low, God is lifting you. While you guard your blessing, God is multiplying it. While you learn discipline, He is teaching you destiny. Quiet is not hiding. Quiet is strategy. Quiet is strength. Quiet is obedience. Quiet is God saying, let me finish this before you reveal it. This season of blessing is not about showing off. It's about showing growth. It's about proving to God that He can trust you with the next level. It's about building a life that cannot be shaken by opinions or threatened by jealousy. It's about preparing for a future where you don't just receive blessing, you become a blessing. So keep your circle small, keep your spirit calm, keep your ears open, keep your words wise. Let God grow your ability to handle provision before He expands your capacity for it. Let him settle your soul so increase doesn't push you into insecurity or arrogance. Money will test you. Provision will reveal you. Increase will show whether your foundation is built on faith or on validation. But when the source is God, you can rest. You can focus. You can walk in purpose without pressure because you didn't force it. You didn't manipulate it. You didn't hustle into it. It came from divine timing, divine alignment, divine favor, and blessings from God's hand are safest in His timing and strongest in His silence. So stay wise, stay grounded, stay surrendered, stay grateful. Let God's blessing grow roots before it grows branches. Not every blessing is meant to be shown because some are meant to shape you before they appear outside. There are times when increase comes so softly that only you and God notice the shift. You feel something change. Your atmosphere feels lighter. The weight on your shoulders feels easier. Your hope feels stronger. But it's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's not for showing off or announcing. It's for holding with care, caution, and intention. Sometimes the quietness of a blessing is its most powerful part. Noise attracts attention, wanted or unwanted. Noise draws observers, judges, critics, or competitors. Quiet protects. Quiet allows you to grow without the pressure of others' timelines, expectations, or opinions. Quiet reminds you this blessing is not for performance, it's for purpose. There's a difference between those who seek applause and those who seek alignment. When God blesses you quietly, He invites you into alignment, into deeper awareness of who He is and who you are becoming. Quietness shows that what is happening in your life is still forming. It's delicate, it's unfolding. And just because it's not loud, it doesn't mean it's not powerful. Visible doesn't mean it lacks value. Many of God's greatest works begin out of sight, like seeds in the soil, roots forming underground, foundations being built where no one can notice. The strength of a blessing develops long before its beauty is revealed. If you show it too early, you risk harming what God is still preparing. There is wisdom in keeping sacred things private. There is safety in letting God complete His work before opening it to the world's scrutiny. This is not secrecy from fear. It's discretion born from spiritual maturity. It's understanding that not everyone can carry what God has entrusted to you. Not everyone can celebrate you without comparing themselves. Not everyone can hear about God's work in your life without letting jealousy take root. Not everyone has the spiritual sensitivity to grasp a blessing that came through divine means. Quiet protects the blessing from being mishandled by others, and it also protects you from being swayed by others. If you announce too soon, you give people the chance to interfere with something God intended to strengthen privately. Their opinions can make you doubt. Their reactions can make you question. Their disbelief can make you shrink. Their jealousy can make you hide in the wrong way. But when you remain quiet, you give God room to strengthen your identity, your confidence, and your clarity so you can carry the blessing steadily. Blessings, especially financial ones, come with the temptation to prove your worth. You may feel the urge to show others you are thriving, that you made it, that God came through, that your struggles are over. But when a blessing comes from God, it does not need to be advertised. The results speak for themselves. Transformation will show. Stability will reveal itself through your peace, not your posts. Quietness helps you break free from needing validation. It reminds you that you do not owe anyone proof, explanation, or justification for what God is doing in your life. You do not have to match the world's pace or style of celebration. You can sit with your blessing, breathe with it, pray over it, and let it settle into your spirit until you know how to carry it well. Quietness also sharpens discernment. When you are not busy announcing, you are listening. You notice shifts in your heart, the new responsibilities attached to the blessing, the next instructions God is whispering. Increase requires direction. Provision requires purpose. Purpose demands focus. Quiet gives you the space to ask, what is this blessing for? What is God trusting me to do with it? How do I handle it wisely? Who belongs in this next chapter and who does not? You start to understand that a blessing is not just something you receive, it is something you carry. How you carry it determines whether it grows or withers, multiplies or fades, becomes a legacy or a lesson. Quiet helps you carry it with grace, with humility, with awareness. When God blesses you quietly, He often wants to strengthen your stewardship before increasing your visibility. He wants to ensure your heart is rooted, your mind is clear, your habits are sound, and your spirit is anchored. Blessings revealed before you are ready can become burdens, but blessings held in wisdom become tools for impact, strength, and longevity. Not every blessing is meant to be broadcast. Some need the protection of silence to become everything God intended. When you understand this, you stop rushing to reveal and start learning to receive. You stop proving and start learning to preserve. You realize that quietness is not a limitation. It is a divine invitation into deeper transformation. When money comes from God, it carries a different weight, purpose, and meaning. It is not random, accidental, or the product of force or manipulation. It is intentional. And because it is intentional, it requires wisdom, not the kind born from fear or scarcity, but the kind that understands divine provision always comes with divine responsibility. When God places increase in your hands, He is not only blessing you, He is trusting you. Trust from God requires maturity. There is a mindset shift when you see that what you have received is not only for comfort, but for calling. Not just for lifestyle, but for legacy. Not just for your enjoyment, but for stewardship. Wisdom teaches you to make decisions that honor the source of the blessing instead of feeding momentary impulses. Money magnifies whatever it finds, your discipline or lack of it, your vision or distraction, your purpose or pressure. Wisdom tells you to pause before spending, pray before planning, and think before moving. It reminds you that increase does not remove responsibility, it increases it. Just because something is in your reach does not mean it is in your assignment. Wisdom helps you discern the difference. It anchors you so you do not let blessings lead you into impulsiveness or self-sabotage. Many ask God for more but are not prepared for more. They desire abundance but have not developed the habits abundance requires. They want opportunities but have not sharpened the skills needed. When money comes from God, it demands readiness. It asks you to examine your patterns, stewardship, relationships, and priorities. What you manage well, God increases. What you mismanage, you risk losing. Wisdom teaches more than handling money. It teaches handling yourself. It shows when ego is speaking too loud, when insecurity is guiding decisions, when impatience pushes you ahead of God's timing. Wisdom teaches boundaries, financial, relational, emotional. Not everyone needs access to the details of your increase. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your financial journey. Not everyone can be trusted with the weight of what God has given you. When increase comes from God, it elevates not just finances, but perspective. It pushes you to think long-term instead of living for the moment. It pushes you to invest wisely, give generously, save intentionally, and build purposefully. Wisdom shifts you from survival to strategy. You stop asking what feels good now and start asking what builds a future worth having. Quiet keeps you from thinking the blessing came by your own strength. It reminds you of the process, the prayers, the sacrifices, and the discipline that brought you here. Quiet keeps you thankful. It keeps you thoughtful. It keeps you grounded. It helps you hold the supply without losing sight of the source. You don't move recklessly or spend carelessly because your heart stays anchored in purpose. Quiet is also a space for multiplication. What grows in silence grows strong. What is planned in silence grows precise. What is built in silence grows stable. When you protect a blessing with quiet, you give it space to become greater than it began. You allow God to breathe on it, develop it, and expand it. You give Him room to stretch what you thought was small. Increase in silence becomes increase with longevity. Quietness teaches the art of timing. It shows you when to move forward, when to wait, when to speak, and when to stay hidden. It helps you understand that not every season of blessing requires visibility. Some seasons strengthen your foundation for the weight of what's coming next. Some blessings are meant to be held, not shown. Some victories are meant to be internal, not public. Quietness gives you the wisdom to know the difference. When money comes from God, staying quiet and staying wise are not just strategies. They are safeguards for your future. They are spiritual disciplines that turn blessings into legacy, elevation into stability, and provision into purpose. Through quietness, you learn to move intentionally, protect what is sacred, and walk in alignment with the one who gave you the blessing. Blessings from God, especially financial blessings, are never random. They are strategic, intentional invitations into higher stewardship, deeper responsibility, and greater spiritual maturity. They remind you that God trusts you not just with increase, but with influence, not just with provision, but with purpose. Silence becomes your shield, and wisdom becomes your guide. You learn to protect what God gives, to move thoughtfully, and to grow into the kind of person who can carry abundance without being carried away by it. Blessings kept quiet have room to deepen, and blessings handled wisely have room to multiply. This is how you honor God's increase. Not by showing off, but by stewarding it, not by announcing it, but by growing into it, not by seeking applause, but by embracing alignment. May your heart remain humble, your hands disciplined, your steps guided, and your spirit grounded as you walk into every blessing assigned to you. And may you always remember that what comes from God is safest in His timing, strongest in His wisdom, and most powerful when handled with grace.